Welcome. Welcome to the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. Now say this with me. Bounce back. Yes, I can. Unstoppable. Unstoppable, free and fearless. Unshakable.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspired, feel your positive unpack.
Never, ever. Never giving up. Encouraged, uplifted, inspired, empowered, motivated.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspired, feel your positive unpack.
Yes, yes, yes I can. Yes I will. Yes I believe. Yes, yes, yes. Heart, be still.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspired, feel your positive unpack.
Bounce back. Bounce back. Bounce back. Bounce back.
I want to introduce the amazing Gillian Pritchett. She is focusing on the importance of business resilience, and she provides her audience and clients with smart ways to embed this into their business. She's a UK chartered accountant, business strategist, and creative marketer, and she has integrated so many of her years of international business expertise into corporate and consulting in one package: business resiliency, which I know a lot of us in business are like, I need all the resilience I can get. Trust me, we all need all the resilience we can get with this pandemic because there's so many things left and right throwing us off track, right? She's passionate about helping other entrepreneurs start and grow sustainable, resilient businesses. Over the past few years, she's developed programs for startups, established business owners, in which she's delivered things to places like McGill University in Montreal. And she's also been adjunct faculty for MBA programs at HEC Montreal, the University of Economics in Prague, the Hague University of Applied Sciences, and teaches venture creation and marketing. It's a whole mouthful because there's so many amazing things, and marketing courses in summer schools all across Europe. Without further ado, I want to welcome the amazing, the beautiful Gillian Pritchett. Oh, Gillian, let me get you off mute here. There we go.
So thank you very much indeed for the introduction. You made it sound really lively and energetic. So much better than when I deliver it for myself. I'd like to start actually before I get into my presentation by congratulating Olu on sharing and also endorsing every single word she said, because I'm sitting here thinking, yep, I get it. Yep, she's absolutely right. I'm not going to tell you about my bounce backs, but trust me, I've had to bounce back from a couple of redundancies, one in the UK, one in Canada, and then from being a caregiver for my mum. So while I talk about business resilience, it's not that I've had the sort of perfect life and the perfect career and the perfect everything, and I just kind of got into it and everything's been perfect. There's been a lot of bouncing back, a lot of reinvention there. And I bring all of that to bear on what I help my clients with. So if you could just give me a couple of minutes while I pull up my PowerPoint presentation. I need to screen share because unlike Olu, I'm actually going to use a PowerPoint and share some, I hope, helpful content with you. So, simple steps to business resilience. It doesn't have to be hard work to get resilience in business. It just takes, as Ola has already said, the right mindset. You can sit back and say, well, I can't be resilient, or you can decide you're going to be resilient. And I'm just going to share a few hints and tips with you. So, yeah, I help businesses survive economic downturns and crises by becoming agile, innovative, and having diversified sources of income, solid financial base, consistent interactions with clients, and a regularly updated crisis plan. So if you like, those are the key components, the main components of getting business resilience. So how are we going to define it? And I think it's important to define it because a lot of people think business resilience is crisis management, risk management, or cybersecurity, or coming up with some great ideas when COVID makes you close the doors and do something different. But it's all of those things and a lot more besides. There's a lot of definitions out there. I like these two. So organizational resilience, as identified, if you like, by this ISO, organizational resilience is the ability of an organization to absorb and adapt in a changing environment to enable it to deliver its objectives and to survive and prosper. More resilient organizations can anticipate and respond to threats and opportunities that arise from sudden or gradual changes in their internal and external context. So it's not just about the outside world, it's what's happening in your organization as well. And enhancing resilience can be a strategic organizational goal, and it's the outcome of good business practice and effectively managing risk. In other words, it needs to be embedded in your organization and in the culture of the organization. And in the UK, we have the Business Standards Institute, and they pick up on some of those same points, but add some extra ones. So again, it's the ability of an organization to anticipate, prepare for, respond, and adapt to incremental change, but also to sudden disruptions, again, in order to survive and prosper. But it reaches beyond risk management towards a more holistic view of business health and success. And a resilient organization doesn't just survive, it flourishes, it passes the test of time. And crucially, it's not a one-off exercise, but it's achieved over time and for the long term. So it needs to be embedded, it needs to be monitored, it needs to be tweaked, it needs to be nurtured. So how are we going to get business resilience? So first of all, monitor your external environment. What's going on out there? What are the opportunities and threats? Plan for impacts that some crises could have on your business, whether it's cybersecurity, a key member of staff going on long-term sick. What would you do if? And we'll look at these in a little bit more detail as we go. You need the right business structure, leadership and staff, and the right mindsets. You need to be agile and innovative and build it into your culture, because then it's much easier to adapt to a crisis, much easier to pivot your business if you need to. And we've heard about pivoting from Olu today, so I think she can bear witness to the need to be able to do that. Have a lean operation and make good use of technology. Don't use technology for the sake of it. Use it because you need to, because it adds value to your business. Have diversified sources of income. You need a detailed knowledge of your customers and target clients. Have strong support systems locally and even in virtual business communities. Have appropriate and timely communications, both internally and externally. A robust supply chain if you're a product-based business. Appropriate insurance and legal agreements. And strong financial management. It's last, but it's by no means least. So I know I haven't got loads of time to talk to you about all of these things. So I'm going to give you, so fasten seatbelts, and we'll take off and look at some of these in a little bit more detail. So we're going to scan the environment, what's happening, but what's likely to happen, and what would the consequences be for our business. Anticipate changes, anticipate the threats and opportunities. This isn't a one-off exercise for a business plan when you did your MBA and that's it. This is something that you need to be tuned into. If you're in a certain sector, your antennae need to be tuned into what's happening that could impact that sector. Discern trends. Trends could bring something negative, it could bring something positive. Identify gaps in the market. Could you exploit those? And if you have studied business, remember PESTEL, an acronym for political, economic, socio-demographic, technological, economic, and legal. If you look at these aspects of the external environment, you'll have covered pretty much everything. How are we going to prepare for our crises? What might happen? We can do some scenario planning, some what ifs. The wackier, the better, because you never know what's going to happen, because we didn't see 9/11 coming, and I don't think we saw COVID coming. And I'm sure there's other things out there like volcanic eruptions and all sorts of things have disrupted business. A ship getting stuck sideways in the Suez Canal. Did we think of that one? So the wackier, the better, in my opinion. And what would you do if it did happen? Could you avert it? Could you stop it from happening? Or could you avoid it actually impacting your business? And if not, how would you mitigate it? Have a plan. Who is involved? What needs to be done? If it's cybersecurity, we need the IT guy on the case rather than the marketing manager. But if it's something else in your business, supply chain, you need the procurement person involved. Who needs to be involved? What needs to be done? And develop resilient leaders, people that have the right mindset, that don't sit there in absolute fear and terror like a rabbit staring into the headlights. Nor do you want someone that turns tail and runs away. You want someone that says, right, okay, I'm getting on with this. This is what we need to do. And in all of this involve your staff, even your suppliers, even maybe your clients. Work together on it. Then you need to have an agile and innovative culture. Become a learning organization at all levels. Monitor the external environment, as I've already mentioned, because that will give you clues, that will give you things you can be creative with. Think outside the box. How could you pivot if you couldn't run your business as is? Here's some examples. Physiotherapists in London went online. That sounds obvious, but I can assure you the town I live in here, there's about 50 retail outlets with shops and cafes and things. And when everything closed down in March 2020, I took a walk up the town. And out of those 50 outlets, only 10 had actually put something in the window about how to keep in touch. Hairdressers, well, total silence. Well, you could be showing people by video how to trim a fringe, or bangs as you call them in North America. Now this upmarket restaurant in London actually did become a bit more innovative. They did a veg box pickup on every Wednesday. We're an upmarket restaurant, but we're flogging your vegetable boxes on a Wednesday. We weren't fussy. We needed money to come in. We needed to keep visibility. But we also offered high price meal deliveries. I say we, they. They offered, this is really smart. I love this one. 20% off money, 20% money off vouchers for future dining. So you're locking people in for the future, helping your cash flow in the short term. The Turkish tour company, what did they get up to? Well, they offered virtual tours. They created a virtual membership program. One of the team offered Turkish cooking lessons. And here's the good one. They started selling homemade Turkish wooden products on Facebook. Why not? It's bringing money in. It's building that customer base. It's keeping them on board. And having diversified the income sources, one would hope that they would continue to do that, because you really don't want all your eggs in one basket. You need more than one client. And ideally, I would argue, have clients in more than one sector. If the retail sector goes, if it just has to close because of something like COVID, what are you going to do? Or the restaurant sector. You need some other things. And I would say have an online offering as well as an offline. Be innovative. If you're a restaurant, do wine tasting. Send the bottles of wine around to people at home and do the wine tasting online. Why not? Even if your restaurant's closed, you've still got an income. You're still working with customers. And you need to know these people. You need to build strong relationships with the ones you've got. Know their needs, their spending habits, because these will change in a crisis. So those people that would eat in your restaurant, maybe they're stuck at home, and some wine tasting would be a good idea. Know who your target clients are. What are their characteristics, their needs, their spending habits? Again, these will change in a crisis. You need to know these. Otherwise, how can you communicate with them? How can you offer them what they need? How can you serve them? And know where to find them. Are they hanging out on Instagram? If it's a small town and people are not very computerized, do you need to put a big notice in the window of your shop or your hairdressing salon? Speak to them where they are, where they're likely to find you. So this is an example of what this hairdresser did. She started to create mini videos to show people how to trim their fringes. We call them fringes in England. I think you call them bangs in North America. But this is such a simple thing to do. And I'm sure she probably attracted clients that actually were not typically her clients. but because she'd reached out and was helpful, probably those people went to her when lockdown ended. Have strong support systems. And I'm sure all of you ladies will agree with me, networking is not about selling, it's building relationships. It doesn't matter if I never buy anything from you and you don't buy from me, but you might be there to, you know, you've got a problem with something, somebody knows somebody who can help you out with it. Have wise and trusted advisors, not the naysayers, but not the ones that, oh, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Those are not the ones you want. Have the ones that will support you and say, oh, I'm not so sure about the idea, but hey, let's give it a whirl and see what happens. Or like Olu's husband that was saying, you know, no, you can't give up. You can't let it all go. Give it a shot. See what happens. Build excellent relationships with your suppliers. And that's really crucial in my view if you have a product-based business. And you know what? Even competitors can help out in a time of crisis. And I have examples of that. So I can assure you that that actually can happen. Communicate, communicate, and communicate, and communicate even more, internally and externally. Keep your staff informed, keep suppliers informed, let your customers know, your target clients, the media, the world outside. But these need to be timely, relevant, and appropriate communications. Always protect your reputation. In a crisis, don't keep silent. If you've done something wrong, say. If you've got a great idea, say. If there's a problem that you can't deliver on something, speak up. People respect you for that, and that maintains your reputation. Keep your staff on side, talk to them too. And as I say, keep communicating with customers and target clients. Have robust supply chains, have a diversity of suppliers. Anticipate issues. I mentioned the ship that was stuck sideways in the Suez Canal. It's a really good, more recent example. Build good relationships. Insurance, I'm not going to read all of these out to you, but they're just, and if anybody does want my PowerPoint pack, I'm very happy if you write to Dr. Stem to then share it with you so that you can look at it later. But these are just some insurances that people don't even think about. Sometimes people don't even know that they exist. But make sure you are adequately insured and get those legal agreements out there. Have that force majeure clause so that if there was a major crisis and you couldn't deliver, then you're kind of off the hook on that contract. And you know, these are ones that I'm sure you think about, but have you actually done it? Mea culpa, I haven't done all of these myself. But we need to, and that will make your business far more resilient. And finally, financial control. It's last, but it's by no means least, because if you don't have financial control, if you don't have good financial management, you can have all the other things and your business can still go down the pan, because you need to control your cost base. You need to manage income, get your pricing set right, invoice promptly, and don't be shy about getting paid. You've done the work, you deserve to be paid. Monitor the cash flow. If you've got negative cash flow, you are in deep trouble. Keep up-to-date records. You need to know where you are at all times in your business. Are you making a profit or not? Have you got cash flow issues? If you don't keep records, you don't know these things. Have a cash reserve. People say 3 months. I think ideally I'd go for 6 months. It may be hard to achieve, but I think it's important to have that cushion there that you can keep going in a crisis. And if a crisis does happen, cut early, cut hard, look after the cash. And remember, monitor your external environment, plan for the impacts, have the right structure, leadership and staff, be agile, be innovative in your company culture, have lean operations, use your technology wisely, have diversified income sources, detailed knowledge of customers and target clients, strong support systems, appropriate and timely communications, internal and external, robust supply chains, insurance and legal, and what was the last one? Yes, financial management. Oof. It was short. It was fast. I hope it gave you some useful insights.